Section 14 of Sun, Moon, and Stars, Astronomy for Beginners. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Sun, Moon, and Stars, Astronomy for Beginners by Agnes Giberne. More about the Moon. When I consider the moon, which thou hast ordained. PSA 8:3. From a globe all fire, all energy, all action, we come to a globe silent, voiceless, changeless, lifeless. So at least the moon seems to us, but it does not do to speak too confidently. True, we can find no trace of an atmosphere in the moon. If there is any atmosphere at all, it must be so thin as to be less than that which we on earth count as actually none. We pump away the air from a glass enclosure in an air pump and say the glass is empty. Only it is not absolutely empty. There is always a very little air remaining, merely a few stray particles, perhaps, so little that fire would not burn and animals could not live in it. Very possibly air to that amount may still cling to the moon, but this is much the same as to say that no air at all is there. At all events, it is far too little to support life. The question of the lunar atmosphere is full of interest. Many theories have been started to account for its absence, and most of these, sooner or later, have had to be given up. Of late, a singular thought has come to the front, that the moon very likely had once an atmosphere like other worlds, but that in course of time she lost it as a matter of necessity. Why would she? Because she was too small to keep it. Something may certainly be said in support of this view. An atmosphere is made of gases, and the tiny particles of a gas are in swift and ceaseless motion, fighting to get as far off from one another as possible. Such motion would carry the particles of every gas away from every planet and sun, except for the restraint of gravitation. As our Earth, by the force of attraction, holds down her atmosphere, so do other celestial bodies. But if a world be very small, then its attraction is weak, too weak, it may be, for the control of those swift gas particles. In such a case, the atmosphere might be expected in the course of years slowly to break loose, particle by particle, melting away into distant space. This may have been the case with our moon. She is so little, and gravitation on her surface must be so feeble, that she might have failed to hold in the restless atmosphere which, perhaps, once clothed her. For the moon is very much smaller than the earth. Her diameter is about 2/7 of the earth's diameter. Her entire surface is about 2/27 of the earth's surface. Her size is about 2/99 of the earth's size, and her whole weight is about 1/80 of the earth's weight. Attraction or gravitation on the surface of the moon is very different from what is on the earth. Her much smaller bulk greatly lessens her power of attraction. While a man from earth would on the surface of the sun, supposing he could exist there at all, lie helpless, motionless, and crushed by his own weight, he would on the moon find himself astonishingly light and active. A leap over a tall house would be nothing to him. The moon, unlike the sun, has no light or heat of her own to give out. She shines merely by reflected light. Rays of sunlight falling upon her rebound thence and find their way earthward. This giving of reflected light is not a matter all on one side. We yield to the moon a great deal more than she yields to us. Full earth, seen from the moon, covers a space 13 times as large as full moon seen from earth. Perhaps you may have noticed soon after new moon, when a delicate crescent of silver light shows in the sky, that within the said crescent seems to lie the body of a round dark moon, only not perfectly dark. It shows a faint glimmer. That glimmer is called earthshine. The bright crescent shines with reflected sunlight. The dim portion shines with reflected earthlight. What a journey those rays have had! First leaving the sun, flashing through 92 millions of miles to earth, rebounding from earth and flashing over 240,000 miles to the dark, shaded part of the moon, then once more rebounding and coming back, much wasted and enfeebled, across the same 240,000 miles, to shine dimly in your eyes and mine. Now about the phases of the moon, that is, her changes from new to full and back again to new. If the moon were a star-like body shining by her own light, she would always appear to be round, but as she shines by reflected sunlight, and as part of her bright side is often turned away from us, the size and shape of the bright part seems to vary. For, of course, only that half of the moon which is turned directly towards the sun is bright. The other half turned away is dark, and can give out no light at all, unless it has a little earth shine to reflect. As the moon travels round the earth, she changes gradually from new to full moon, and then back to new again. New moon is when the moon in her orbit comes between the sun and the earth. The half of her upon which the sun shines is turned away from us, and only her dark side is toward us. So at new moon she is quite invisible. It is at new moon that an eclipse of the sun takes place, whenever the moon's orbit carries her in a line precisely between sun and earth. Passing onward round the earth, the moon, as we get a little glimpse of her shining side, first shows a slender sickle of light, which widens more and more till she reaches her first quarter. She is then neither between earth and sun, nor outside the earth away from the sun, but just at one side of us, passing over the earth's own orbit. Still, as before, half her body is lighted up by the sun. By this time, half the bright part and half the dark part are turned towards us, so that, seeing the bright quarter, we name it the first quarter. On and on round us moves the moon, showing more light at every step. Now she passes quite outside the earth's orbit, away from the sun. Not the slightest chance here of an eclipse of the sun, though an eclipse of the moon herself is quite possible, but more of that presently. As she reaches a point in a line with earth and sun, only generally a little higher or lower than the plane of the earth's orbit, her round, bright face, shining in the sun's rays, is turned exactly towards us. Then we have full moon. Still she goes on. Once more her light narrows and wanes as part of her bright half turns away. Again, at the last quarter, as at the first, she occupies a sideways position, turning towards us half her bright side and half her dark side. Then she journeys on, with lessening rim of light till she vanishes, and once more we have the dark, invisible new moon. You may easily picture this for yourself. Let a candle be upon a table in a room otherwise dark. Stand near the table with a ball in your hand, which you must hold out at arm's length. Turn slowly round upon your feet, keeping your arm and hand motionless, and let the ball thus travel round you. Your own motion here is a matter of no importance. It is needful merely that you may keep your face towards the ball, and also that the position and slope of the ball may not vary. Begin by stretching out your arm straight towards the candle. Now the light is shining full upon the ball, lighting up one half of it, but of the bright half you see nothing. The dark side only is turned towards you. That is new moon. If you put the ball exactly between your eyes and the candle, it eclipses or hides the candle flame, but by holding an inch or two higher or lower, you avoid an eclipse. Now move your arm slowly round to the left, moving yourself round with it so as to watch the ball intently. A rim of light will begin to show, gradually increasing, till the half ball which you can see, one quarter is light and one quarter is dark. In the case of the real moon, the light quarter only is visible, and the dark is hidden, though in your ball you will see both. This is the first quarter. Go on turning slowly round, watching the light space gradually widen. Now your arm is extended in a direction away from the candle. If the ball is in an exact line with the candle and your head, you will produce an eclipse of the moon by allowing your shadow to fall upon it. But by raising it a little higher, you avoid this eclipse also. The candle light still, as always, falls upon the ball, lighting up one half. And now the whole of that half is turned towards you, and the whole of the dark side is turned away. This is full moon. Move onward again, spinning very slowly round with extended arm, and you will have diminishing light once more, till the ball passes through last quarter and again becomes new moon. An eclipse of the sun has already been described. An eclipse of the moon is an equally simple matter. An eclipse of the sun is caused by the dark, solid body of the moon passing just between earth and sun, hiding the sun from us, and casting its shadow upon the earth. An eclipse of the moon is also caused by a shadow, the shadow of our own earth falling upon the moon. Here again, if the plane of the moon's orbit were the same as ours, eclipses of the moon would be very common. As it is, her orbit carries her often just a little too high or too low to be eclipsed, and it is only now and then, at regular intervals, that she passes through the shadow of the earth. If a large solid ball is hung up in the air, with bright sunlight shining on it, the sunlight will cast a cone of shadow behind the ball. It will throw in a direction just away from the sun a long round shadow the same size as the ball at first, but tapering gradually off to a point. If the ball is near the ground, a round shadow will rest there almost as large as the ball. The higher the ball is placed, the smaller will be the round shadow, till, at length, if the ball be taken far enough upwards, the shadow will not reach the ground at all. Our Earth and all the planets cast just such a tapering cone of dark shadow behind them into space. The cone always lies in a direction exactly away from the sun. It is when the moon comes into this shadow that an eclipse of the moon takes place. Sometimes she only dips halfway into it or just grazes along the edge of it, and that is called a partial eclipse. Sometimes she goes in altogether, straight through the midst of the shadow, so that the whole of her bright face for a short time grows quite dark. Then we have a total lunar eclipse. End of section 14.